Hi, my amazing planner friends. It's Jess from My Magical Planner, and today is weight loss check-in day. I'm hoping in the future to be doing these face-to-face, but today I'm going to show you how I'm doing with my planner for this, in part because I don't feel the greatest, so I didn't feel like putting on makeup or more put together, so we're going to do it this way this week. On Monday, I was flying home from Disney, so this was not a weight loss day. However, I did take the opportunity to write down kind of my baseline of these are the symptoms I'm seeing on a daily basis, this is how I'm feeling, and all of that. On Monday, I officially started the weight loss, which is the Optifast. It's very similar to a couple of other programs, only this one is specifically guided by a healthcare professional like a doctor. So, and there's like a whole, like I get a dietitian and a whole bunch of other things, although we'll get into that in a minute. So I met with a surgeon on Monday. No, this is not about bariatric surgery, although this is the type of diet you go on for a bariatric surgery. This is because I'm still having issues from my gallbladder removal and wanted to evaluate what we could do. I still have some stones that are left in my stump, and it's a slightly larger stump as far as stumps go, so evaluating what we were going to do. So I met with a new surgeon, not the surgeon who removed stuff, and was given quite a different response than what I was given over 2 years ago when I had contacted the surgeon who did the surgery, which actually is at the same office, and was like, hey, I didn't have these problems before the surgery, now I'm having them. They were things like pain and kind of chronic, well, if I have, okay, this is maybe TMI, but if I have anything with fat in it, it's essentially like having a gallbladder attack every day. So it's very challenging to maintain that and to maintain that pain. It's not like a full-blown, like I can still function thanks to meds, but it's challenging and it's definitely life-altering. So I met with him on Tuesday, and the fact that the original surgeon said, yeah, there's stones on there, but even though at the time of the surgery, she said she would go back in and grab them if there were stones that were left behind. When I talked to her a few months post-op, she was like, no, they're too small. I'm not going to go back in there and get them. There were two at that time. It appears that there may only be one now because one of them may have moved on to somewhere else. But so what he said is that essentially we're going to wait a couple weeks and see how it does and whether or not my pain gets any better. And then if that doesn't help, the plan will be to kind of evaluate things at about a month and then potentially set up a procedure where they'll go in through my mouth, into my stomach, and then back up into the bile duct and into that cystic duct remnant to grab those stones and take them out. That procedure has a less probability of damaging the bile duct. The other possibility is for them to go in surgically and essentially clamp, because the stump is longer, they can clamp it off closer to the bile duct and just essentially remove that portion with the stones in it. So, or open up the incision and pull them out that way. Sorry, that's the reflux. So that's kind of where things lay there. I actually feel a little hopeful about that. I did ask because, there's no obvious signs for why I'm having pain in some of the locations. And so my question to him was, can we try physical therapy and see if maybe it's something to do with how the muscle was cut and recovered and everything. So he was happy to send in a referral for that. He wasn't sure if his insurance is going to cover it, so we're gonna wait and see on that. But this is how a typical day goes. I try to drink a shake at 9, 11:30, 1:30, and then around like 3 or 4, I'll try to have some kind of, I'd like to have the bars. I don't have enough of the bars yet, but I like having the protein bar because I'm usually in the car at that time, and then coming home and I'll have soup and usually a cup of tea or something of that nature as my treat. I can only have tea that doesn't have anything in it, so it's just the tea bag. And then around, in this case it was 9:50, but usually it's before 9, I try to have my last shake because it's hard for me to fall asleep if my stomach is really grumbling. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I thought the support group was supposed to start, but I guess it doesn't start until next week, or maybe my access to it doesn't start until next week, which I think is kind of weird, but it is what it is. I did start adding in a cucumber here, and I did treat myself with hint water. I'm not sure if the hint water is actually allowed, but I'm going with it's an okay little treat. So, and I can have all the cucumbers and celery I want, they said. So by this point I had tried, I think, both soups. The vegetable soup is really, really horrendous. The tomato soup's not too bad. You can add, like I added basil and a couple other seasonings, and you can add a little bit of vegetables to it, like broccoli's not bad. I want to try spinach because that was the recipe I saw. I just didn't have any. And you can add just a teeny bit of Parmesan on the top, and it gives a really good flavor. The vegetable soup, I'm trying different things, but it's really bad. I did find a recipe to turn it into crackers, and I think I'm going to try and do that today. The shakes are actually not bad. They're not like the best thing you've ever had, but as far as diet shakes go, it's pretty typical, I would say. And the protein bars, I would say, are overall good. I like the chocolate ones better than the apple one, but because there's like chocolate and there's peanut butter and chocolate, and then there's an apple cinnamon, I think it is, and that one's not as much to my liking. It was a little drier, I think, is really what it was. But I'm going to continue to try and get those. We'll get to ordering in a few minutes. So on Thursday I had the liver scan. That went pretty well, although I've been really sore since then, and they did my weight and stuff at that point, which already at that point I had lost a substantial amount, and we'll talk about how much I've lost as of this morning in a minute. But I continued with the shakes. This day I did have to, I wasn't allowed to eat between 7 and 11 because of that liver scan, so I got up early to have a shake, and then everything was a little bit skewed after that. Friday went pretty well. This is when I started doing the broccoli and parm and the tomato soup. Yesterday was a really stressful day. So I was at a skating competition all day. I forgot to take a shake before I left, and so my first shake wasn't until 10, and I was in a public facility with a lot of temptation, right next to a concession stand with popcorn and all kinds of other things. So it was really hard. So I did a chocolate shake at 10, and then I walked up to my car and was able to eat a cucumber around 12:30, and then I didn't get home from all of that until like 3, and that's when I had my second shake. And at that point I just felt horrible. I did try to lay down a little bit, but it just felt really off. I also was not drinking enough water at that point. So I did try and move up when I would normally have. I'm trying to do like 3 hours between things, and I moved those more close together and did the broccoli and the tomato soup. That was okay, but I still was feeling just off, and so I decided, with feeling really down because my daughter's competition didn't go as well as she would like, and I felt bad. So instead I decided I was going to give myself a break, and I was going to give myself a little treat, and so I had some air pop popcorn. I put a little butter on it, and I have these packets that are like sugar-free Hawaiian Punch for the kids, and I added that to like a bottle of water to help me drink some more. And so I did that around 6:40, and then I did go out and get a small ice cream cone from Dairy Queen with my husband and family around 9, just as a, it was a sucky day. It just was. As far as over here, so I do have that initial, like, this is how things are going. And then underneath here, I'm tracking sleep, my amount of water. I have a large, here, I'll show it to you guys. I have a large 32-ounce water bottle. This works really well for me. I love the reminders, so I can look at it and kind of be like, oh, it's past this time, I should catch up, or that kind of thing. I was wearing my Apple Watch most of the week. I'm not wearing it today because I forgot to charge it last night, so it's charging now. But overall, sleep didn't go great. I had one day that I got 8 hours. The rest were around between 5 and 6. So I know that's an area I need to improve on. Step-wise, generally speaking, I would say I'm in around 4,000 steps a day right now. I would like to increase that, but I'm not going to focus on that this week. Then we have my AM and PM meds. I did overall well, but I did miss my reflux meds on these 2 days, which is probably why I'm feeling so horrible today. Over here on the side, I kind of kept track of a couple of things, like on Tuesday, which is when they weighed me at the doctor's office on Tuesday and said I was 235 pounds, but I was super swollen. Like, I don't know that my feet have ever been that swollen before. I don't know if that was because of being in Disney and the transition, like, just wasn't sure, but I was really uncomfortable. So I don't know if that weight is accurate, but I did mark it down here just so I would remember, because I wasn't sure where I wanted to mark it. And then by Tuesday, I was super tired, had a lot of headaches going on, still swollen, but not as much. I did take a 3-hour nap on this day, and I took before photos because I wanted to make sure I had those. And I was starting to have a lot of side and back pain by that evening. On Wednesday, when I had the liver scan, after the liver scan, my side got super duper sore. So it almost felt like somebody had punched me, which it's not supposed to have that effect with the type of scanning that they do. So I'm not sure. I don't get the results from that scan probably for another week and a half. So we'll see on that one. By Friday morning, I was feeling really good in the morning. I think if I had maintained my water intake and everything, that maybe things would have gone a little better. I also am concerned about the amount of pain I'm getting on the right side, but we're going to continue on and see how it goes this week. Maybe that's that fat being used, I don't know. So, because that's kind of the ideal situation, is that I'll use all of that fat. I can tell you that the upper part of my abdominal is definitely shrinking. So when I weighed in this morning, I weighed in at 222 pounds, 0.2 on my scale. Now these are different scales, so I don't know which one I should go by. I had also weighed previously and been 227 pounds. So I'm going to say that I've lost at least like 4 pounds, and we'll see how it continues to go. I usually like to wait another week before I actually count it, because I'm always afraid it's just, maybe the scale was wrong. So let's go ahead and set up for this week now. So because there's just so much information to put on here, I am not decorating this really. And obviously I just wrote some of this in to catch up. I am trying to find a pen that works a little bit better in here. I don't seem to have as much issue with the smearing in my cousin, but I think that's because it's a larger planner and I tend to leave it open a little bit afterwards. But, so we're going to leave this portion just kind of how it is. And then on this side, I need a couple of markers just to dedicate this different areas for me. I think I might use the same ones I used last week, just because they're right here, and I think that worked pretty well. So I think at the top I do want to track sleep. Hold on. There's another marker, and just seeing what other colors I have really close. I think that one will work. Okay. So I think I'm going to do it in the same order where I do sleep at the top. I'm going to try and keep everything kind of in this area though. So we'll do, sleep will be this top one here. And that gives me this area to do any kind of, you know, this is how the day is going type stuff. I do think it's really important to track the sleep. Let me find a different pen though. Oh, I can do colored pens. I wonder how this one will go. Let's see. Oh, smears a little. Shoot. Well, we're gonna go for it anyhow. Alright, next thing I think I'm going to do is my water tracking. Oh, I forgot to sleep down here. By the way, this is just a pen I got off of Amazon. I think I put in Japanese pens or something like that. I do really like them. They have a smaller tip and they come in all different colors. So let's see if I can find a different color here for you guys. So let's do water with blue. So I'm just going to put H2O in here for me and then kind of mark out a grid of up to 4 boxes that I can check. This one is definitely juicier than the pink one was. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully not bad. Why do I keep on forgetting Sunday down here? Poor Sunday. Let's see here. I just kind of it helps anyhow. I can just see that the ink is more shiny in some of these, and so I want to try and get it off so I don't smudge it, although I did smudge a little bit there. Okay, and then after water, what else will I try? Oh, the watch, right, which I had done with the yellow. Just want to make sure I got that blue off. So for this one, maybe we use black. And I'm just going to put a box over here. I'll know what the box is for, and then I'll put steps. That keeps me inside of this area that I wanted to. Now I'm not using my best writing because I'm just more concerned about getting everything in here and not smearing if I can. Oh, I forgot the box. Shoot, I'll put it on this side. And then I think I'll use the black also for AM meds and PM meds. And I'm going to give myself a dot for each one of those again. Alright, that's everything I think I'm going to put in there to track, because that gives me a place to write down everything I'm eating, a place to track how everything is going, and all the important things that I think are going to impact it over here. So anyhow, that's everything for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it informative. If you guys have additional questions, just let me know down below and I'll try to address those. And until next week, I'll see you guys real soon.